Hi guys, hello. Welcome to Authentically Lee. Today I'm going to make some ribeye steak on top of the stove, along with some rice and gravy. Also going to make some biscuits. Yes, some homemade biscuits. I know how to make homemade biscuits, and I just went and got all of the ingredients to make that. I do have a taste for some deviled eggs, so I definitely want to make some of those. And everybody knows that you got to have some deviled eggs. You don't have to, but I want some. I've been marinating my steak for a day and it smells delicious. But these are the ribeyes. Okay, and yeah, they're a little bit brown now simply because I have some Worcestershire sauce and marinade in here. I know my way around in the kitchen, so don't come for me, okay? Do not come for me about my kitchen. So I decided to go ahead and let the music play while I make my ribeye steak and gravy. I'm gonna pressure cook my rice. I'm gonna make the deviled eggs, and I think I'll pause the music for the biscuits. Yeah, so just sit back and vibe. Hope you enjoy. So here's my pan. I gotta rinse it off, and I gotta make sure that it's gonna be ready by the time I fry these. I'm gonna spray it with a little Pam so they don't stick. All right, so you don't want your butter to burn. So I'm gonna turn these back around, turn you guys back around, and you'll see how I'm doing this. Take it, put them in there. We are not cooking them. We are just see, and we don't want them too brown on the bottom. I'm gonna spray. Okay. I'm gonna spray. And then we are sticking them. If you look at the bottom, you'll see. I wish I could show you the bottom. See? See that? And then you just put them in there. Now, I should have had my other ones ready already. But again, I'm trying to, so I'll move that on the back. You're gonna add a little bit more butter because that soaked up, that's bread. So that's gonna soak up the butter anyway, and it turns it brown too. You know, butter burns real quick. Butter burns quick. And I haven't even rolled out the rest of my dough, right? So I'm about to roll it out. Just about to roll it out. Just give me a second. I'm trying to do too many things at one time. See me rolling it? You see me rolling. They hating. So I ain't gonna get but a couple biscuits out of here. But twist. Oh, y'all, I got this guy who I met. When I say he was an asshole, can I say that on him? He got so mad at me. I have to tell y'all about that. That's the man who was like, "Are you submissive?" That's him. He came up in one of my little regular spots on Thursday. First of all, I didn't ask him to come out. So I'm lying. I went and had my my drinks with my coworkers, like a meeting. And okay, so now I'm gonna let the butter brown again. I went and had the drinks on Thursday, and then when I got done, I Ubered over to my spot. I came home first, and then I Ubered back up to my little spot, my little Mexican spot that I go to. And before I went up there, he had texted me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm about to, just got off a work event, and I'm about to go and have me a drink." I said, "You're welcome to join me, friend. You're welcome to join me." He was like, "I might." So what that tell you? You might. Okay, well, I'm going to go on about my business. Turn it around, y'all see what I'm doing? Talking about he might. Well, that don't mean you coming, right? That don't mean you coming. Oh. Somebody calling me, but I ain't going to get it. That don't mean you coming. When I go, I sit at the bar. So when I was up there were several people already up there at the bar, sitting next to me and everything. So he pops up. Well, first of all, you didn't say you was coming up there. You said you might. And might to me is not a definite. So I'm not about to, you know, I extended the offer. You said what you said. And it is what it is. No big deal. I'm going to go on with my night. I was just extending the courtesy. So he comes up there about an hour after I'm there. And I say hello to him and everything. I say hello, you know, being nice. And one of my homegirls was sitting next to me. She's a regular there. She comes there all the time. She was sitting next to me. I wasn't finna be like, move. What? No, not finna tell her to move. So he sits a few seats down and he proceeds to order him a beer. And okay, that's just that on that. That's cool. That's fine. You better talk to the, it's a family affair up there. Everybody kind of know everybody. Everybody go up there from time to time, you know. I'm certainly not finna make no concessions for you when you done told me you might come. Child, please. No. You didn't say yeah. You was like, I might. Well, might to me means indefinite. And so therefore, okay. I don't really like you like that, but I'm trying to be cool with you because you could always use a friend, you know, some people that you know or whatever to go here and there or whatever. You know, just be on the invite list, that type of thing. I could be a guy's friend without dating him. So, I know doggone well I did not put the spatula in the dishwater. So me being me was just being nice. And I was like, well, you know, I don't mind knowing people to hang out with. Because you done lost me anyway when you talking about am I submissive and do I submit and all that old mess. I'm not doing all that to somebody like him. He was texting me, good morning, queen, and all that. I don't like stuff like that. So, because it ain't every day and it ain't all day and that ain't how you talk. So, no, I don't want to. These are going to be some big ones back here, y'all. So, anyway, the biscuits are here. And I'm going to show them to you when they're done. You put them in the oven on 350, 400 for about 15 minutes. And you good to go. So anyway, he comes up there. And I guess he wanted me to make people move or whatever for him. No, I'm not doing that. Y'all, look at this mess. So he, you know, I'm like, you just basically better get in where you fit in. You done already told me you didn't know if you was coming. So what I'm supposed to do? So he sits there, my homegirl telling me a story about her and her partner. So I'm listening to her. Like, we already engrossed in conversation and I'm not about to stop. It was a serious conversation and she, you know, needed an ear at the time. Had you said you was coming and I knew definite, I would have saved you a seat. You know what I'm saying? I would have saved you a seat and would have made room for you or whatever when you got there. But you didn't say that. So because you get there and I don't make room for you, I don't, you know, we talk a little bit, but not enough to, you know, I'm in a conversation. You know, I'm already in a conversation, engrossed in it. And that's what I'm doing now. So he sits there. Then he begins to text me. He orders a beer. Then he begins to text me. How long you going to be here? I don't get the text because I'm listening to my friend. I'm not looking at my phone, in other words. So I get it about 15, 20 minutes later. Not fast enough, I guess, for him. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Why? He was like, you a trip. What you mean I'm a trip? What am I doing wrong? He was like, you just a trip. I said, huh? And then he was texting me in all caps and put an exclamation point behind it. I don't know why people express themselves through words when they can just get up and say what they want to say. I know he didn't want to cause no scene or nothing, but that right there didn't sit well with me either. So I was like, whatever. I was just like, huh? Okay. I'll be a trip. And then another friend comes in there and offers to buy me a drink for my birthday. So he did. Thank you. I take the shot with him. You know, I'm still talking to my friend. And then he was like, I'm out. I was like, yeah, he said, you funny or something like that. Something weird, something stupid that didn't make a hell of sense. And I'm not finna try to figure out what you're saying or try to take the bait or whatever. I'm not doing that. Like, if you got something to say to me, freaking say it. If you don't, be on your merry way. I ain't like you like that anyway. And then, you know how you see somebody when you meet him the first night, because like I said, he was super nice. When you meet him the first night, he was cool, you know. Wasn't no looker, but he wasn't ugly. He was just nice. Well, he ain't my type. So I done already made up in my mind the couple of conversations that we had on the phone. You cool. But I also made up in my mind, I don't like you talking about I need to be submissive. That's the type of woman you want and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that either. So, you know, done been married a couple times and I ain't holding that against nobody. But for a woman like me, I ain't never been married. I don't need you coming in asking me questions that you probably should have asked your ex-wife, or trying to make sure I'm not her. Do you do this and do you like this? And what if you in this scenario, in this relationship? Boy, what? Honey, I'm not. Whew. Anyway, needless to say, he leaves out of the bar. I don't call him. He doesn't call me. We haven't talked. And I'm fine with that. I'm so fine with that. Because that's an insecure person, number one. And insecure people breeds on misery for themselves because they care too much about what other people think. They so busy trying to fit you in a box. You know, not getting to know who you are or what your status is or what you're like and, you know, your dislikes. They going based off some shit, trying to head off their so-called red flags based on based on how somebody else treated them. I'm not her. And so I'm not her. I'm not your past whatever. Granted, you learn from experience. But you don't come asking me questions of scenarios that you and her had so that you can see if I'm going to give you the right answer. This ain't no game show. Child. I was like, deuces. 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 Glad you did not, you know, just weird. And who moved on and had a date Saturday? Is me. Date them all and have a ball. Child. I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. I don't know why men think, you know, and he thought he was the prize. We are both prizes, honey. Depends on who you ask. But you just ain't no better than me because you're a man. What the hell? You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my womb. What are you talking about? So anyway, that happened. And I'm glad it did because, see y'all, my kitchen clean? Because I didn't like him. And I didn't want him to try to like me. I certainly didn't. That's just that on that. I'm going to show y'all the biscuits when they're done. Y'all, my biscuits were a total flop. They tasted good, but they were like hockey pucks. Hard.